The obsidian platform shudders as the last crystal explodes, and the Ender Dragon does not scream. It exhales. Across the void, every Enderman goes still, heads snapping toward the center as purple cracks race over the bedrock like veins of lightning. The dragon's body unravels into a storm of dark light, pouring downward, not into experience orbs, but into the single block that should have been inert. The egg pulses once, twice, then splits with a wet, echoing sound that should never exist in the end. Before the shell finishes falling, tap the like button and subscribe so you do not miss the next fracture in this world's timeline. Tell in the comments which biome you would flee to if this happened on your server, and who you would trust to guard that egg. The first sound anyone hears from the newborn dragon is not a roar. It is a heartbeat, deep, tectonic, like a drum beneath the bedrock. The lone player on the obsidian platform, armor cracked and inventory nearly empty, stares as the black shell fragments hover in mid-air, spun by invisible force. Between them, a creature unfurls. Smaller than the Ender Dragon, but far from small, it scales a shifting pattern of void and starlight, eyes bright as enchanted amethyst. The player, known in chat as Rowan, steps back until his boots scrape the edge of the void. It was supposed to drop experience. He whispers to nobody, voice raw through his open mic. The hatchling tilts its head. It does not attack. It watches unblinking as the first bridge of cobblestone stretches from the main island toward the outer end. Far beyond, Endermen, normally indifferent, begin to move in spirals, forming rings around obsidian pillars, their eyes watering purple. Rowan raises his sword. The dragonling blinks once, and the sword disintegrates into a spray of floating particles that hang in the air like embers, then drift toward its chest and vanish. In the overworld, the sky changes. It is not sudden, not like the hard cut of rain. It is a slow dimming, as if sunset has decided to linger at noon. Villagers in a plains village look up from their trading stalls as the light warms to an eerie violet. Iron golems pause mid-stride, heads turning toward the nearest stronghold buried deep below. In a spruce forest, a second player, Mara, stops chopping wood. She watches the horizon as leaves rustle without wind, every wolf in the biome raising its head to howl in perfect, uneasy unison. "Server lag," she mutters into voice chat. Rowan's voice crackles back, thin and distant. "No, I did it. I beat the dragon. But something went wrong." On the obsidian platform, the newborn dragon tests its wings. Each beat sends ripples through the void, the stars bending around its form. The broken egg fragments knit themselves into a collar of obsidian plates around its neck, as if the world is trying to cage what it has already released. The end portal home waits, swirling green and black, but its surface is clouded now by drifting purple motes. Rowan glances at it, then at the dragonling. His health is low, food bar nearly empty. He could jump. He could end credits, respawn, pretend this never happened. The hatchling leans forward, sniffing. Its breath is cold but not deadly. It smells of old stone and rain that has never fallen. Rowan does something that will echo across every biome. He lowers his shield. "Are you hostile?" he asks, though he knows it cannot answer. The dragonling's pupils narrow. For a heartbeat, the end is silent. Then, far beneath the main island, something answers. A second heartbeat. Slower, older, out of sync. Rowan does not hear that one. The viewer does. In the overworld, strongholds awaken. Mossy stone bricks tremble as silverfish pour from their hidden blocks, scurrying in frantic spirals. End portal frames, long dormant, flicker with ghostly eyes of Endor that were never placed. In one such stronghold, directly beneath Mara's spruce forest, the library's cobwebs sway as if brushed by unseen wings. Mara feels it in her bones before she hears it. A low, distant thump, then another. The ground beneath her boots vibrates, shaking loose snow from nearby branches. "Rowan," she says, "what did you do?" "I hatched it," Rowan answers, and the word hangs in the end like a challenge. On the platform, the hatchling stretches its neck toward the void, then toward Rowan, then toward the portal. Its eyes flicker with reflected images: forests, deserts, oceans, villages. It sees the overworld, and the overworld feels seen. Every Enderman on the island drops to one knee. They do not worship, they submit. The dragonling lets out its first true sound, a rising, keening call that makes the obsidian hum. The Endermen echo it in a chorus of glitching screeches, their heads twitching as if reprogrammed. Rowan stumbles, hands over his ears. "No, no, no!" The call does not stay in the end. It leaks. In the nether, ghasts pause mid-wail, their eyes narrowing. Blaze spawners flare brighter, sending sparks in a spiral pattern that matches the Enderman's rings. Piglins clutch their golden treasures tighter, snorting nervously as purple veins creep along the basalt deltas. In the overworld, bats drop from cave ceilings, stunned. Dolphins beach themselves on sandy shores, chittering in confusion. In Mara's forest, the wolves that howled now whimper, tails tucked, staring at the ground as if something beneath it is knocking. Mara opens her coordinates. She is standing above where the stronghold should be. "Rowan, I am going down." She digs. The first major descent in this timeline is not symbolic. It is literal. Stone gives way to mossy cobblestone. Silverfish explode from the walls, biting, but Mara barely flinches, sweeping them aside with her enchanted axe. Her torchlight flickers against cracked stone, iron bars, empty cells. She moves faster. The heartbeats grow louder. Rowan, still in the end, edges toward the portal. The dragonling follows, curious, its tail coiling around an obsidian pillar, crushing it to dust with the casual strength of a creature that has never known weakness. "Stay," Rowan says, voice shaking. "You stay here. I go home. We forget this." The dragonling blinks slowly, then places one clawed foot on the portal's surface. The texture ripples, not green now, but a deep, swirling violet. Rowan swears under his breath. He has seen corrupted portals before, glitches, misloads, cursed seeds. This is different. This feels intentional. "You cannot come through," he insists. "You will break everything." The dragonling tilts its head, and for the first time, it opens its mouth not to roar, but to speak without words. Images slam into Rowan's mind, a world of endless night, purple auroras over frozen oceans, Endermen walking freely through villages, villagers staring up at a sky threaded with obsidian veins. A dragon, not alone, but surrounded by a growing flock of smaller shadows, each circling a central unseen point. Rowan staggers back, helmet ringing against the pillar. "No! No! No! No!" He is a speedrunner, a grinder, a player who measures worlds in resources and roots, not in visions. The dragonling has never known a player before. It does not understand refusal. In the stronghold beneath Mara's forest, the end portal room is not as she expects. The frame is complete without her. Every eye socket is filled, but the eyes are not stable. They swirl with violet mist, their pupils shaped like tiny dragon wings. The portal in the center is active, but its surface is not flat. It bulges upward, as if something on the other side is pressing through. The heartbeats are deafening now, synchronized with the pulses of light in the portal. Mara steps to the edge, shield raised, and sees a reflection that is not her own. A dragon's eye stares back. "Rowan," she whispers. "It is trying to open from both sides." In the village under the purple sky, the librarian closes his shutters early. Golems patrol in tighter circles, their iron feet denting the grass. The wandering trader outside the walls packs up his llamas, glancing nervously at the faint shimmering cracks forming in the far horizon, where the air itself seems to peel. He has seen many worlds. He has not seen this. On the server's surface, more players log in. Names flicker in chat. Some joke about the strange sky. Some ask if there is a new event. None of them know that, in the end, a newborn dragon is learning that portals are doors and doors can be pushed. Rowan makes a decision. He sprints, not toward the portal, but away across the obsidian island, placing blocks in frantic, jittering rhythm. Cobblestone, dirt, whatever he has left. He builds a pillar, then another, climbing, trying to reach the height limit of a dimension with no clouds. The dragonling watches, puzzled, then amused. It lifts off, wings beating slower now, more controlled. Each flap sends waves of purple energy across the void, and in the overworld, auroras begin to form. Thin streaks of violet dancing in the darkened noon. Mara grips the edge of the stronghold's portal frame. "If it comes through here," she says into voice chat, "it will be on my coordinates, in my forest, in our spawn region." "What are you going to do?" another player asks, voice crackling, someone who has just logged in, unaware of the scale. Mara looks at the swirling, bulging surface, the dragon eye staring up, the heartbeats pounding in her chest. "I am going in," she answers. She jumps. Her body vanishes into the violet surface at the exact moment the dragonling in the end lunges for the corrupted portal on Rowan's platform. 2 impacts, 2 sides. The portal does not break. It does not crash the server. It evolves. The green is gone. The familiar end gateway color is replaced by a deep, glassy black threaded with shifting constellations. The frame cracks, end stone fusing with overworld stone, stronghold bricks bleeding into obsidian. Mara emerges not on the obsidian platform, but in mid-air, halfway between Rowan's pillar and the newborn dragon. For one suspended heartbeat, she hangs, eyes wide, seeing the void yawn below and the hatchling's gaze fixed on her with something like recognition. Then, gravity remembers her. She falls. Rowan curses, diving off his half-built tower, throwing an ender pearl with the last of his aim. The pearl arcs, shimmering, and he slams into Mara mid-plummet, grabbing her by the arm as the pearl's magic pulls them sideways onto a narrow ledge of endstone. They crash, sliding, hearts pounding. Mara rolls onto her back and sees the dragonling up close for the first time. "It is beautiful," she breathes, and the word tastes wrong in her mouth, because beauty should not be this terrifying. The hatchling hovers, studying the 2 players. Its wings beat more slowly now, each motion precise. The collar of obsidian around its neck glows faintly where shell fragments have fused to scale. It sends another wave of images, this time to both of them. Villages under violet skies where crops grow faster but twist into unfamiliar shapes. Forests where leaves do not fall but float, suspended in the air like fragments of a paused explosion. Oceans where end stone pillars rise from the depths, topped with glowing crystals that hum with dragon song. Endermen walking through nether fortresses, ignoring blaze fire, placing blocks in deliberate spiraling patterns. A world where the boundary between dimensions is not a barrier, but a suggestion. Mara's hand tightens on her axe. It wants to merge everything. Rowan nods, throat dry. It is a baby. It does not know separate. In the nether, that lack of separation becomes tangible. At a Bastian remnant, piglins gather around a chest filled with gold. One lifts a bar, sniffing it greedily, only to squeal and drop it as the metal flickers purple. The gold bar stretches, thins, and reshapes into a tiny obsidian scale, which flutters like a leaf and flies away toward a swirling, newly formed rift in the crimson sky. The piglins watch, confused, then enraged. They throw more gold at the rift. Each piece is transformed, each scale flying off to join an invisible pattern. The nether is being taxed, and the collector is not a player. In the overworld, portals begin to misbehave. A player in a desert builds a standard nether portal, lights it, and steps through, expecting lava seas and salt sand. Instead, he emerges onto a floating end island suspended above a warped forest, where endermen and hoglins move together in uneasy truce. He steps back in panic, but the portal behind him flickers and vanishes. The dragonling is rewriting the rules, one connection at a time. On the obsidian ledge, Rowan and Mara exchange a look that is half terror, half awe. "We cannot kill it," Mara says. "It is the only one of its kind." "If we do not," Rowan replies, "there will not be a kind. There will just be this, everywhere." The dragonling tilts its head, sensing their conflict, but not understanding sides. It drifts closer, lowering its massive skull until one bright amethyst eye is level with them. Rowan feels its breath again, cold and ancient. Mara feels something else, a tug in her inventory. She opens it instinctively and sees her ender pearls vibrating, their texture glitching between green and violet. The dragonling wants them. It wants all of them. Across the server, every ender pearl in every chest, every inventory, every dropped item on the ground begins to tremble. They roll toward the nearest open space, then rise into the air, defying gravity, streaking upward in glowing arcs that converge on a single point above the end, above the dragonling. Mara slams her inventory shut, but it is too late. Her pearls burst into light, phasing through the menu, flying out of her body in a shower of spectral shards. The dragonling opens its mouth and devours the storm. When it closes its jaws, the end shudders. Its eyes are no longer just amethyst. They are swirling galaxies of green and violet. Every thrown pearl, every eye of ender, every teleportation attempt the server has ever made, compressed into a single hungry gaze. It has eaten the idea of distance. In the overworld, a farmer in a remote tiger village drops his hoe as he suddenly finds himself standing in the nether on a basalt delta with no portal in sight. In a jungle temple, a redstone trapper reaches for a lever and instead appears on the roof of a woodland mansion, creepers hissing in surprise around him. The dragonling's new instinct is simple. Everything is connected. Why wait? Mara's voice is quiet. We are out of time. Rowan looks up at the sky of the end, at the faint, ghostly outlines of overworld biomes flickering like reflections on water. plains, desert, ocean, a snow-capped mountain where a goat stands on the edge, then vanishes, reappearing on a nether fortress bridge. He grips his empty hand, missing his sword. "We need a cage," he says, "not a grave." Mara frowns. "The end is already a cage." "Not for it," Rowan replies, "for what it will become." In the ancient cities deep beneath the overworld, something stirs that has slept through dragon fights and wither storms and every petty raid above. The warden lifts its head. It has no eyes to see the violet auroras, no inventory to lose pearls, but it feels the vibrations of the dragonling's heartbeats through the deep slate. The skulk veins on the walls pulse in rhythm, spreading faster, hungrier, tasting a new kind of sound. The warden roars, a low, mournful bellow, and for the first time, the sound does not echo back unchanged. Far above, in the end, the dragonling pauses mid-flight. It hears an answer. Mara feels the shift. What was that? A rival, the narrator might say, but in this world it is more complicated. The warden is not a rival. It is an anchor, a creature of darkness that is nonetheless rooted, bound to its cities, to its skulk. Where the dragonling represents expansion, the warden represents refusal. Two philosophies of power, neither human, now aware of each other. Rowan's eyes narrow. "If we can bring it here?" Mara stares at him, horrified. "You want to bring the warden to the end?" "Not the warden," Rowan says. "What the warden guards." He remembers the legends, the data packs, the whispers in chat, the reinforced deep slate that even netherite struggles to break. The central structure in some ancient cities, hollow and waiting, as if prepared for something that never arrived. A prison. In the overworld, the ancient city directly beneath Spawn begins to change. Skulk veins creep upward, reaching toward the stronghold that Mara passed through. The heartbeats of the dragonling vibrate through stone and deep slate, and the skulk responds, growing in intricate, spiraling patterns that eerily match the Enderman's new building habits. The world is trying to adapt. It might not adapt in humanity's favor. Rowan and Mara act. They split without needing to speak, because this is what players do when a raid begins or a base is under siege. One defends, one fetches. Mara stays in the end, drawing the dragonling's attention with thrown snowballs, with arrows that disintegrate before they hit, with shouted insults that somehow feel both ridiculous and necessary. "You oversized chorus fruit!" she yells, ducking as a sweep of its tail obliterates an endstone spire. The dragonling answers with a pulse of gravity that yanks her sideways, teleporting her a few blocks off her ledge. She scrambles, boots slipping on the edge, catching herself with a last-second block place. It is playing with her. In the overworld, Rowan respawns in his bed in a small fortified base near Spawn. For a moment, he lies there, listening to the muffled, distant heartbeats that now seem to come from all directions. Then he moves. He raids his chests for wool, for snow, for potions of night vision and swift sneak gear. He crafts more arrows out of habit, then stops, realizing arrows are almost meaningless now. He crafts instead what he needs most: wool carpets, skulk sensors he has hoarded from a previous expedition, note blocks. He's going to the ancient city. As he runs across the darkened plains, the world around him is in motion. Villages appear and vanish in random places as the dragonling's teleportation field glitches across dimensions. A cow blinks out of existence in front of him, then reappears halfway submerged in a nearby pond, lowing in confusion. Pillagers at an outpost find themselves suddenly dropped into a nether lava lake, crossbows bubbling away. The dragonling is not malicious. It is curious. It is trying to understand the shape of everything by shuffling it. Curiosity at this scale is catastrophic. Rowan dives into the cave that leads to the ancient city, his torchlight barely necessary as bioluminescent skulk blooms cast eerie teal light on the walls. The heartbeats are louder here, overlapping with the slow, ponderous thuds of the warden's movement. He reaches the city edge and stops, crouching. Skulk's senses ripple as they feel his presence. But wool muffles his steps. He places carpets, moving like a ghost between dead pillars and broken bridges. Above him, the ceiling drips with stone and skulk, veins reaching upward as if trying to escape. In the center of the city, the massive reinforced structure looms, its interior hollow, its frame unbreakable, a cage waiting for a prisoner. Rowan's plan is insane. It is also the only one with any chance. He will turn the ancient city into a beacon, a sound so loud that even a dragonling that has devoured teleportation itself cannot ignore it. He will link the warden's domain to the dragon's sky and hope that two apex forces cancel each other out rather than multiply. In the end, Mara feels her arms growing heavy. She has dodged the dragonling's experiments for what feels like hours, though the server clock says minutes. Her armor is chipped, her food supply dwindling. Her voice is hoarse from shouting, from singing, from anything that will keep its attention on her, and not on the unstable portals that still hover, flickering at the island's edge. "Come on," she gasps, throwing another snowball that vanishes into purple mist before impact. "Stay with me. Look at me." The dragonling does. It is learning faster now. It has stopped trying to disintegrate her weapons. It has started trying to understand her movements, predicting her strafes, her jumps. It is not just bending space. It is watching strategy. Mara feels a chill that has nothing to do with the void. "What will you be in a day?" she whispers. In the overworld's depths, Rowan finishes his trap. Note blocks ring out in a complex pattern, amplified by skulk catalysts that glow brighter with each vibration. The sound is not music. It is a call, a synthetic heartbeat that overlays the dragons and the wardens with a new, insistent rhythm. The warden erupts from the ground nearby, roaring in blind fury, its chest cavity glowing with sickly light. It swings at the air, smelling Rowan, but not seeing him, its strikes shaking the deep slate. Rowan swallows, hidden under his wool carpet. "Come on," he whispers. "Hear it. Follow it." The sound builds, echoing up through the stronghold, through the mossy bricks, through the cracked stone, through the portal frame that is now half end, half overworld. In the end, the dragonling pauses mid-dive. It hears something new. Its head cocks, wings flaring, eyes narrowing. For the first time, it looks uncertain. Mara sees it, seizes the moment. "Go!" she says through gritted teeth, as if the dragon can understand. "Go listen to that instead." The dragonling does not understand words. It understands patterns. It turns away from Mara, away from the obsidian platform, and flies upward, toward a point in the sky where the void seems thinner. Its body glows, scales flickering with constellations as it focuses. Then, with a sound like 1,000 ender pearls shattering at once, it tears a hole, not a portal, a wound. Through it, the ancient city's central chamber is visible, skulk and reinforced deep slate, and the towering frame that waits. The warden, drawn by the same sound, charges into view from the side, its bulk massive even compared to the dragonlings. It howls, sensing the dragon's presence, and swings blindly at the rift. Rowan watches from his hiding place as two gods of this blocky world meet for the first time. The dragonling lunges through the wound, its body distorting, stretching, as if the world itself resists its passage. The warden reaches up, claws scraping against invisible barriers, chest light pulsing wildly. For a moment, they overlap. The heartbeats synchronize. Then everything explodes into silence. In the end, the wound snaps shut. The sky stops flickering with biomes. The obsidian platform goes still. In the overworld, the violet auroras fade, replaced by a normal, pale sun that seems suddenly too bright. Villagers stop teleporting randomly. Endermen freeze where they stand, and slowly, cautiously resume their aimless wandering. In the ancient city, dust settles. Rowan coughs, waving skulk spores away, and peeks over his wool carpet. The central chamber has changed. The reinforced deep slate frame is no longer empty. Suspended in the middle, wrapped in layers of skulk and obsidian, is a sphere of frozen void, pulsing faintly with purple and teal light. Inside, barely visible, the dragonling and the warden are intertwined, locked in an eternal motionless struggle. Their heartbeats are still there, but distant now, muffled. The prison has a prisoner. Rowan stands, legs shaking, and steps closer. He feels the pull of teleportation, but it is weak, unfocused. The dragonling has been caged not just in space, but in potential. The warden's refusal, its anchoring nature, has pinned the dragon's expansion in place. He touches the reinforced deep slate. It is warm. In the end, Mara lies on her back on the obsidian platform, staring up at a sky that looks normal. The Ender Dragon is gone. The hatchling is gone. The Endermen move in their familiar, unsettling patterns, but without coordination, without rings. She laughs once, a short, disbelieving sound. "We did it," she says into voice chat, voice cracking. Rowan's voice comes back, tired but alive. "We contained it." On the surface, the world begins to adjust. The purple tint in the sky lingers at the horizon, like a bruise slowly fading. Some portals remain glitched, leading to hybrid spaces where nether and end and overworld overlap in strange, beautiful, dangerous ways. A mushroom island floating above a soul sand valley. A jungle canopy pierced by obsidian pillars. The villagers return to their routines, but their iron golems patrol with new intensity, watching the skies as well as the gates. The wandering trader, who saw the cracks in the horizon, now sells maps with strange, swirling patterns where the ancient cities lie. He does not say what is at their centers. He does not need to. Players adapt. Some form a faction dedicated to guarding those cities, building bases above them, digging warning trenches, placing signs that say things like, "Do not break, do not touch, do not listen too closely." They call themselves Wardens of the Warden, half joking, half serious. Others are drawn to the power. They slip past wool carpets and golems, descend into the depths, and stand before the reinforced cages, feeling the faint, rhythmic pull of the imprisoned dragon. They place their hands on the deep slate and whisper, "Just a little, just a bit of your power, to protect my base, to end my enemies, to reshape my biome." Sometimes, when the world is quiet and the heartbeats align, the skulk pulses brighter. Tiny rifts appear for a second, then close. A cow teleports 2 blocks to the left. A torch flickers and becomes a chorus flower. A villager wakes from sleep with a memory of flying through a starless sky. Rowan and Mara visit the cage together once. They stand in silence before the suspended sphere, listening. "You know this is not over," Mara says. Rowan nods. It is better than the alternative. He remembers the visions the dragonling showed him. A world without borders, without distance, without safety. He also remembers the awe. What if it was right? He asks quietly. What if the world was meant to be one thing, not three? Mara looks at the cage, at the frozen struggle inside. "At what cost?" she replies. Above them, in the overworld, a child in a village points at the faint violet streak still visible at dusk and asks what it is. An elder villager hesitates, then says it is just the sky remembering something. The child nods, unconvinced. In the end, a single fragment of the original eggshell drifts near the edge of the main island, missed in the chaos, overlooked by both players and dragon. It spins slowly, catching non-existent light. Cracks form on its surface. The heartbeats, distant and muffled in the ancient city, skip once, then resume. Far away, in a deep ocean biome, an end gateway that no one has ever found flickers, its frame briefly outlined in purple before fading back to grey. The world is saved. The world is changed. And in the quiet between dimensions, where sound is a suggestion and time is a loop, something small and patient waits for the next heartbeat to miss a step. When it does, there will be no roar, no explosion, no sky torn open. There will be a single, soft sound, like an eggshell giving way.